As the saying goes, say not always what you know, but always know what you say. People need to be aware of their words, and even more so if you're a Scrum Master. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying here that you should not be telling the team when clearly something is wrong. No, far from that. I'm just saying that you need to have some tact when speaking. Choose your words wisely. A Scrum Master is not a manager. People in the Scrum team don't report to the Scrum Master. But still, a Scrum Master in the team plays the role of a teacher, a coach, a mentor. They are an expert in their field. And because of this, most people in the team will have a lot of respect for the Scrum Master. Take everything that the Scrum Master says seriously. And because of this, you need to stop using these following sentences. Number 1, no, that's not Scrum. Our Scrum is a framework. There are some guidelines and rules that need to be strictly followed in order for it to work as expected. But still, at some point in your journey, it's sort of guaranteed that the team will want to try new stuff, do things which are outside of a Scrum framework. Maybe you want to extend the duration of a sprint by 1 day. Maybe you want to skip the sprint retrospective because they have other things to do, production issues. What do you do in these situations? Well, I know a lot of Scrum Masters that would simply shout at the team, telling them that it's unacceptable to not be using Scrum, the Scrum guide, as per the book. They will use the iconic phrase, "That's not Scrum," and I sort of agree with them. Well, obviously, I don't agree with the way they say it. That's way too blunt for me. You should have some tact when saying that. But they are right. Scrum is immutable, which means that if you do a single thing differently than written in the Scrum guide, you're no longer using Scrum and you might not get the benefits of Scrum. If you follow this logic, it would make sense to tell the team to use the Scrum guide as per the book. But what I feel is extremely important for a Scrum Master to do in these situations is asking why. Why don't the team, the developers in the team, want the product owner to attend the sprint retrospective? Why does the team want to skip the daily Scrum today? Why does the team start a sprint without a sprint goal? All these little things outside of a Scrum guide. No one cares about this part. What we should care about is the entire patterns hiding in the shadows. All these things are the root cause, a troubling issue that you need to work with the team to fix it. So instead of diverting from the Scrum guide, find the root cause of the issue, fix it, and you'll see that the team has no issues following the Scrum guide or the Scrum framework. Sentence not to use. Number 2, what's your status update for today? The Scrum guide, or at least the official version of the Scrum guide, was released in 2010. 12 years later, most people still believe that the daily Scrum is a status meeting, a meeting where developers provide status updates to the product owner, to their Scrum Master. Developers acting as if these people are their supervisors. And when I hear Scrum Masters in the daily Scrum asking for status updates to developers, I cringe. Why do you need this information? How will you use this data? What are you trying to achieve? Asking this question. The daily Scrum is not a status update meeting. It's not. It's simply not. It's a meeting where developers can share progress, talk about progress towards the sprint goal, craft a plan for the day together to get closer to the sprint goal. It's a meeting for developers, by developers. The product owner, the Scrum Master are not even required to attend this meeting. I don't like this question. What's your status update for today, John? And only John, not the team. What's your status update for today, John? I don't like this question. In most cases, it shows a clear lack of trust in the abilities of John. Coming from the product owner, coming from the Scrum Master, John can perceive this as a lack of decision-making power. John might feel that he's being micromanaged. When you're doing this, you're preventing John from growing, from being mature, and you're building negative reinforcement in the team. And at this point, you're going down a really dark road. If you want to get information on the status of a task, a user story, look at Jira, Look at the Kanban board, the comment section of Jira or any other applications that you use to track your work. The work should be visible, right? If it's not, you have a problem. You should make the work visible. But if the work is visible, why are you asking people for status updates? If you still feel when looking at the work that the work is taking more time than required, maybe a developer is working 3 days on a task where you feel that the task should be done in 1 day. Why? Why are you saying this? You're a Scrum Master. Are you a developer? How do you know this person is an expert at their craft? They tell you 3 days, and they are working on this for 3 days, simply because it takes 3 days to do. Who are you as a Scrum Master to tell the developer how long it should take to do that? And worse, the product owner. Don't even get me started. The product owner estimating work for the developers or telling them what to do. But even after my little rant, if you still feel that you need to ask the developer, why is it taking so long to complete this task? Reframe the question. Ask the developer, do you have anything blocking you, preventing you from completing this task? Can other members or even myself in the team help you to get this thing done, this task done faster? Do you need help? We are available to help you. Sentence not to use. Number 3. That's not my job to do it. I really hate it. I hate it when team members use this phrase. And it's even worse when Scrum Masters say that it's not their job to do something. We are working in a team, a Scrum team, a single unit collaborating together every single day to get closer to the sprint goal and complete it by the end of the sprint. I'm assuming here that there's a task that needs to be done, urgent task that needs to be done to get closer to the sprint goal, and someone in the team is saying that it's not their job. No, it's not their job to do it. That's nonsense. This person might be right. Let's take an example. Maybe the product owner is working on a user story, but unfortunately, they can't work today because they need to go to a workshop, and the user story is really important to complete it so that developers can work on that, and the product owner asks the Scrum Master to complete the user story for them. What would you do in this situation? Well, most Scrum Masters would say, no, that's not my job to do that. Technically, they might be right, but that's not being a team player. Take the decision as a team. Ask the team, is this thing really important? If it's important, who can do that? Can we work together as a team to complete the user story? Maybe someone will tell you that they are free, they can do that. If it's really important and no one can do that, do it as a Scrum Master. Come on, do it. Sentence not to use. Number 4, no impediments or blockers, right? I don't like this question. It's a tricky one, but I don't like it. Your role as a Scrum Master is to really show the Scrum team or guide the Scrum team in having an efficient daily Scrum, not rushing through the daily Scrum. One of the most important things that needs to be shared in the daily Scrums, impediments and blockers, not solved. You can't solve that in the daily Scrum in 15 minutes, obviously. This needs to be done afterwards. Teach that to your Scrum team, but all the impediments and blockers need to be shared. Avoid leading the witness. Avoid telling them, asking them a question like that so that they can skip this part. When you're asking them this type of question, you're sort of giving the perception that you want to rush things out, and most people would just simply say, no impediments, no blocker. No, stop doing that. Let them think, let them talk, let them run the stand-up without you stop rushing them. If you still want to optimize the stand-up, it's taking more than 15 minutes to do. In most cases, they are trying to solve issues instead of only sharing. Coach them on this part. In most cases, that's why stand-ups take too long to do. And the last sentence, not to use as a Scrum Master. Anything that starts with, I think we should do X, especially if X is not related to Agile and Scrum. I see many Scrum Masters do that, telling the developers how to do certain technical tasks. Estimating work for the developers, challenging estimations that developers give, challenging the planning, telling them that they need to go faster. I know that you're smart. You wouldn't be a Scrum Master if you weren't really smart. But no one cares what you think. Really, no one cares what you think. Stop preventing the team from thinking, from working together, from estimating, from using their expertise, their building their craft, growing, learning. Stop preventing them from doing that. Ask questions instead. Ask powerful questions instead. Don't tell them what to do. You can suggest things. You can suggest that we try something like an experiment for Agile things, Scrum-related things, even technical things. You can suggest, but stop telling them what to do. Stop telling them what to do. Let them grow. If you keep telling them what to do, you are basically an impediment, preventing them from growing, preventing them from learning, preventing them from being self-managed. Which brings me to my next point. If you want more tips, insights on Agile, Scrum, personal growth, click on the video that stands out the most on the screen right now, and I'll see you in a few seconds.